What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with Casey and Michelle, and we are discussing the final two episodes ever of Fear the Walking Dead. And oh my God, I thought we would never get to this point. Just say it.
Yeah, I don't think it was that bad.
Whatever. I just rewatched these last two episodes.
I didn't think it was that
3 hours.
What?
I didn't think it was that bad.
No.
Like,
but she's been saying that all season.
She has.
Okay, but before we get started.
But you can see where there's some improvements. You can see where they were just throwing crap on the wall and seeing what was catching.
What was the improvement? Hold on, before we get to that, I may ask you that question, but I got to start this episode off. I got to say two things that I told y'all I was going to say. I got to do my two I told you so's. I told you they was going to bring Alicia back in the last episode because they talked her ass up too much in these last few. And I also told y'all there was no way that Crane was dead. I told y'all June should have double tapped that ass. I told you he wasn't dead. And they brought him back. And for what?
He did now.
That was the most pointless. Like, we've been making some complaints about this last season and about the story.
No, they had to bring him back to wrap it up.
Shit.
You know why he showed up.
So that he can give his dialogue to tell us finally how the hell Madison got away from the stadium just to turn around and die the same way his sister did. Like,
yeah, it's poetic.
Yeah.
And, I was just like, y'all really could have kept that.
No, we needed that. Because how else would they end up in the water for Troy to have his revelation? Unless they ended up in the water so he could save Madison.
Well, all I have to say was this was a wasted season. Yeah, we could have ended last season. Well, add 2 more episodes to last season to tie things up, and Alicia come in, and we should have just ended there. And she's holding her mom as her mom is dying, because I quite got excited when she got shot. And then I was mad when I found out she was alive again. And I was like, I can't. I just can't.
She stuck the gun clip right here.
Man, that necklace, I need to have necklaces all over my body. That's what's going to stop a bullet.
Well,
the necklace didn't stop it. The clip.
It was the magazine clip, but the necklace was inside it. The necklace,
but they made it. They saved her life. Mm-hmm. It was a waste. We could have, honestly, you could have saved money and we added 2 more episodes, find out what happened to the other people on the boat, had a nice closure, Alicia go find, or no, Madison said, you know what? I'm wrong. Let me go find these parents and redeem myself. And in that process, she runs into Alicia and is like, oh, and help me find the parents. And we move on.
No, because then they would have had the conversation of why are you looking for these parents so hard?
She still got to have that conversation. She still have a conversation. And it's total opposites. You've been stealing children and your daughter been helping people. But literally the whole season. So then we have an episode about the sanctuaries just so we can hear that they're going to go back to it.
And that's what I was going to say. Didn't it cave in on itself?
Correct. It was falling apart. But I said, well, that was the whole point of us having the episode about them going there so that we can say that that's where they're going to go at the end. I'd rather you say, hey, I heard about this place.
Right.
That Carol and a group is running. Maybe we can take the people there.
Well, maybe they'll hear that once they get back.
No, I need them to have said that on this screen here. And then I'll be like, man, that makes sense and stuff. And then I really feel like Dwight and Sherry will have some time and some safety in a moment.
They ain't gonna know that until they get there.
I'm just saying they heard.
Inhabited the sanctuary wasn't trying to divulge information. I'm sure they wasn't.
I know, but they heard. It was turtle mail. I don't know. I'm just.
And then I need to know how much time passed from the time Madison blew up the walkers to Tracy woke her up.
Okay, we got a whole bunch of questions. There's a whole bunch of questions.
And there's no walkers involved?
And for that matter, how this girl buried her daddy? I said, oh, she had time to dig a hole.
Okay, so while we talking about burying folks, hold up.
Oxygen?
Hold up.
Where's the oxygen?
Hold up. We gotta start we gotta start with Troy, first of all.
Okay, go ahead.
I need to know what the fuck kind of superhuman powers he has, because he has survived being hit in the head twice with a hammer. Stab. Not one. Well, he didn't survive the second time.
I don't understand.
But Alicia apparently drove her arm into his stomach, and he almost bled to death.
But he survived.
Then he gets into this accident in this episode, has a tree branch. Excuse me, not even a branch. A branch is little. Has a tree limb go straight through his body. He has been out for hours, according to Tracy, because when the accident happened, it was night. And when he gained consciousness, it was daytime. It was light. You have this thing in your arm. You don't look
get out for your daughter.
You ain't lost enough blood. You have enough energy to get yourself out of that car to fight Madison. You got enough to literally whoop her ass. And then you have enough energy with this big ass hole in your shoulder to bury your wife and then to knock Madison out with the shovel. And you're going through all this other stuff. You ain't passed out from blood loss. You don't look blue in the face. It
was just the shoulder. It was just the shoulder.
Yeah, it was a lot.
He didn't hit nothing major. So when she ripped
the limb went through his body.
Yeah, but look, it had been in there so long, it was in there overnight that it clotted. So when she pulled it out, it just clotted back.
We are not going to do this. You're not about to Michelle away this injury.
No, that's what happened. You know they say if something impales you, leave it in there, right?
Yeah.
So it was in there long enough because remember he passed out and then Tracy had left. So we don't know how long it had been. It then cauterized, and which is why she
wasn't no cauterization. Cauterization includes heat.
Wait, wait, but I'm saying that's why when she yanked it out real fast, it didn't. You ain't never seen Deadpool where his skin went right back.
Deadpool is a fucking mutant. It's supposed to do that.
Yeah, Troy is superhuman, and this
up until that last one,
right? And then it was like,
don't forget, he is superhuman because how he pulled him out of quicksand.
Yeah, and then we have
Daniel Sherman deserved better than what they gave him this season, because between his unnatural healing powers and then him telling a lie every goddamn 5 minutes. Oh
right. My. And then it's like, I'm mad at Madison and I'm mad at myself for believing it. When he said, I said, we're not doing this, are we?
I didn't believe that.
I wasn't sure because it's been off the rails. This has been off the rails anyway. That's the problem. This has been off the rails, so I didn't know where they were going. I thought they were trying to be all clever. Oh my God, this is her child, really? I wasn't sure. And then the girl luckily
made sense about that. Like, I kind of sort of believed it at first because I was like, okay, that much time had not passed from when Alicia lost her arm and when we saw her again. So maybe she had been pregnant with old dudes, baby, but that was like, no. for that.
It wasn't enough time because Tracy was like 8 or 9, 10, 11.
Supposed to be.
It ain't been that long.
She's supposed to be. She got to be at the very most 8 or 9, because the whole accident with Troy, where Madison tried to kill him, that was 10 years ago. He wasn't seeing anybody at that time.
Yeah.
Anybody that he would have been seeing at that time was probably dead on the ranch because of the stuff that he pulled. So it had to have been, I mean, think about it.
She's 8 or 9. 8 or 9, because he needs to heal. And then
before
meet someone.
He can sit there and be trying to,
and date someone. Right. And then marry someone. So I see that. But I mean, I believed in the beginning. I was like, well, what are we saying? And then who's the dad? And I'm thinking, okay, it was the guy. I'm like, okay, it's not Troy, because I'm like, that's not right.
Oh no,
it has to be. So because I'm thinking, what kind of sense does this make? But I was like, I can't. Thank God the girl did not, listen or even agree upon this. But Madison was so quick. Madison, does she look like anybody on either side of the family? No, so we're just going to throw.
It looks like Nick.
I know, but she just grasped at any straws here, and I'm like, the one thing that put me over the edge that made me want to get up out of my seat and throw the remote and say F this episode and this show was when Victor asked Madison, "Will you help save my family?" And she said no.
Girl,
I know I feel some way because I'm getting animated on this one. All the stuff, Victor, right or wrong, that he has done, when you needed help, the children needed help, he was there. He's asking for his family that's right there that needs help. You don't know what's going on with Alicia, and you're going to tell him no? At that part, I wanted her to die. Girl, right there on the spot. Hit by lightning, die in front of him.
I was so pissed off because I was like, you're gonna condemn not only his family, but every single one of these people are in that situation because of your bullshit.
That part.
And you're gonna tell him, no, I can't help you. I have to go make sure. I have to go see if Alicia's. You know what? I was really, really, really hoping Daniel would shoot her ass, because Daniel was like, I'm sick of both of y'all motherfuckers. I don't like everybody I love to y'all because of the stuff that y'all. When I say I was really hoping somebody would shoot Madison, because I was like, I'm so done at this point.
I'm done. And I love the stuff that Daniel said. We're gonna say he crazy. He was making perfect sense. One, I'm not killing any more of my family because of a wild goose chase, and you don't know what you're even doing. This is like episodes of The Young and the Restless back in the day. We're going back and forth, Troy and Madison with Alicia. I don't really give a crap anymore. That's what I said. This is a waste of a season.
Girl, I was so mad when she fixed her mouth to say no. And Victor is sitting there crying with her, pleading with her.
Help.
You told him no? What? No. And just like he said, I'm the only person who was trying to save her, talking about Tracy. I'm the only person trying to save you. The only reason why Madison is even being nice to Tracy, I felt Tracy. Tracy was like, the only reason why you're being like this is because you think I'm her daughter. Because 2 seconds before that, Madison didn't give a fuck about you.
And when it killed you.
Girl. And then she wants to be, is it her? We can fix it at the thing. We can make it. And girl, if you don't shut you know what?
She's trying to be the best grandma ever.
I was really happy when Crane showed up and knocked her in the head with the shovel. And here's the other thing. She ain't got no concussion. She done been hit in the head with a shovel, not once, but twice in a row. Because Troy hit her first and then Crane hit her. She should have a concussion or something. Maybe that's why she was acting the way she was, because she was stupid in the head because of that. I don't know. But when I say she got on my last nerve, like I have been complaining about her all season, yes, but this episode I was like, please die. Please die. Yeah. But then I think that kind of would have made me mad too, because I would have been like, y'all brought her back just to kill her. Like, we got all of this for this? Really?
Well, I wanted her to die, and Alicia comes back, and they have a conversation. I love you. I miss you, Mom. And she dies. And that would have been best. And Alicia go off and help Madre after the woman who stole the children.
Right.
That's who
she got her second chance.
Nah,
that second chance.
She saved everybody.
Okay, hold on.
They got into everything, but then she ended up saving everybody in the end.
Right.
How many people died before she did that, though?
That redemption.
How many people died?
But that wasn't the question.
That redemption there can kiss butt. That redemption was horrible. Just because at the end she changed her mind and go lie the match and start running. You were supposed to have done that in the get-go.
That's what she should have done. Yes.
That doesn't redeem you for all the stuff that you have done up until that point. Ma'am, it doesn't. If all these other people, we got Negan, Negan was in jail for years and laid his life on the line for everyone, and people still say he can't change, he can't redeem himself. But this one here can light a flare, and we all forgive her. We changed the name of Padre to Madre. What kind of mother is she? What example are you? This is not the example of Mother Teresa right here. This is not who y'all need to use.
Nope.
What about the other women? Sherry, Madre after Sherry, who did everything she could for her child
and for lost her child to that place,
and is still trying to make sure all the other kids are taken care of. Right. But you use Madison as your pedestal, the expectation.
Yeah, girl,
like make it make sense. Like, did y'all really watch this and believe that we're supposed to feel some type of way for her? I didn't even care that they had the reunion at the end. I wanted. That didn't feel. I felt nothing.
So I will admit I teared up a little bit when Alicia showed up on screen, but again, that's because I love Alicia Debnam Carey. I was glad to see her back. I was like, okay, this is cool. You know, when she spoke, I was like, okay, they brought her back. I got a little teary, but then after that, I was like,
I can't.
So now you're about to go live happily ever after with her daughter and the little girl who shot you, whose father you killed in front of her. Now all of a sudden y'all are
all forgiven.
Nice, big happy family.
We're a family. And all these other people who in the wake of what you did is suffering. You got Dwight and Sherry gonna find these parents. That's not up to you to find these parents. Madison needs to find these parents, but Madison wants to go to California to help people. See, what happens is you've been doing this since the beginning. You cause a mess, you move on to another mess. You should ask Alicia, who is good at this, to help you reunite these parents with their children. Instead, other people are doing it for you, and they name the whole system after you now.
And that was how Alicia found
because
them.
you left. Right.
When I say I was so over this whole episode, or with these two episodes, and then there was something I literally it was in the forefront of my mind, and I can't think about it now. Something that happened in what was it? Something that happened. I was like, oh, wait. There was something that happened in one of these two episodes that reminded me of. Okay, I'll have to come back to it. It's playing in the background, so once I see it, it'll trigger my memory. But okay, I'm gonna step off Madison for a little bit. We'll come back to her because I still got a lot to say, but we're gonna step off her for a minute.
Okay.
The whole thing with bringing Crane back. You bring him back and you have him capture Madison and Troy and all this other stuff. Oh, I can, and now he's going to try to take Padre back, and he's going to offer Troy the chance that Madison didn't. Oh yeah, you and your daughter will have a safe place, blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, the little double cross happens because Daniel and Luciana come to the rescue. They come to Madison's rescue yet again. But I digress. Okay. They get away from him. They get ready to cross his bridge. He comes after them with a gun. First of all, sir, I need you to have better shooting skills for you to have done what you did on that island for so long. Like, correct. You got two big targets right here, nothing but open space around you. You should have at least shot one of them.
Right.
You should have shot at least one of them.
Raise them.
Then you drop them into the swamp. You sit here and you spend all your time telling us how y'all saved Madison. And because what was it he said? We knew that if you sacrifice yourself for your children, then you would do anything to protect them. So y'all have her stealing kids, which I'm gonna put it like this. With these two episodes, or at least with the episode with him, after seeing all the shit that they have been doing the last few episodes, now I see why PADRE existed the way that they did. Because they were right. These adults don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're putting the kids in danger.
They do.
Like, literally.
Over stupid stuff.
That whole 11th episode, I was like, oh, okay, you know what? I thought nothing could sway me to think the way PADRE did. Yes, this 11th episode did, because the stuff that Madison is doing with Tracy, the stuff that Troy was doing with Tracy, and I understand Troy is trying to save his daughter, so he's thinking up lie after lie to say, oh, okay, to make sure that Madison is not going to kill Tracy after she has killed him. So he tells that lie, oh, that's not my daughter. Serena, she lost the baby, so I stole Alicia's, and she's Alicia's daughter, blah, blah. Really? But this is the way you want your daughter to remember you? These are the last words that you speak within her hearing, that she is not your daughter, that she is a stolen child, and that she belongs to the person you have raised her to hate?
Right.
I can see why PADRE existed.
Right.
Makes no sense.
None. We could have just left again. If you needed to do this season, it should have been left with Crane and just upset what happened to his sister. And then he gathers other people. And even with Madison involved, say, we've been keeping track of Alicia, so we know what's going on with her. And she's like, you do? You didn't tell? Oh, no. We were holding that in our pocket for if something happens. And they go back and forth and all this stuff.
When we first see Madison come back, isn't that one of the reasons, or one of the things that
it was?
That's the reason why she was doing what she was doing.
But then they can bring it full circle and still have him exacting revenge. You know what I'm saying? He knows the in and outs of PADRE, trying to destroy it, even though he said it was for the kids, but he's really trying to destroy it so no one would have it. Like, that could have been it.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone comes to fight him, right, and his mastermind. But you kind of throw him in and out like he's nothing, even though he has to be something, because he's been leading this
for years,
for a while. So him and Sue together, so it has to be something. And his dad was in the military. The boy got some type of brains. I know, but he was
apparently not.
He only got good shooting skills.
Because he sat there, he monologued, and then when the walkers started coming towards the swamp, instead of ducking and dodging, what does he do? He stands there and lets himself be eaten. Bruh, that's the same way your sister died, and you sat here and tried to blame Madison and Morgan for letting her die that way. Mm-hmm. She did basically the same thing you did, but she at least had the emotional trauma of it being your dad. Mm-hmm. that made her do what she did. Right. You just was sitting there being stupid and slow.
And bringing them.
And if you wanted it to go back and forth, you could have even just extended it and kind of try to get Morgan to be back, or not end the way he ended, and have him come back.
No, Morgan didn't need no part of this.
No, but I'm just saying, if we took out Troy and it was Crane, and then the inner going back and forth is how to handle it. And Madison wanted to handle one way, and then Morgan wanted another, and people were taking side. I can see that. But this right here.
But they should have, if that was the case, they could have done that towards the beginning of the season. And they didn't even have to bring Troy into all this.
That's what I'm saying. If we could subtract Troy, I would have been okay with that. And that's during this time, Madison redeemed herself over and over. And then at the end, Alicia comes back.
Right. Here's the other thing.
Because they finally get the information on the file about Alicia and realize she's this undercover name.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I would have been okay with that. And then we see everyone got their happy ending.
We didn't even get there yet. I still got stuff to say about the whole Crane thing. So after Troy and Madison fall up under the swamp, after Troy gives this little apology for the way things turned out, I didn't want it to end this way, blah blah blah. They wake up on the banks. Mm-hmm. Everybody is there. Victor, Luciana, Daniel, all of them are there. You still see the broken bridge in the background. You mean to tell me y'all just sitting on the bank, on the same bank that Crane just died on? So you telling me there's a fresh body with walkers over there, y'all just chilling?
No, they ate him all the way up.
They ate him all the way up, but the walkers will still be there.
No, they killed him.
I don't see no bodies on the ground.
When Troy, because he threw him in the swamp.
I don't see no bodies on the ground.
When he rescued everybody, he had to kill the ones that was left, but they had already eaten all of
with a hole in his shoulder and after nearly drowning.
Right, but see, once he got in the water, it sealed up the hole.
You know what, Casey? No, you cannot save this. You cannot save this. Mm-mm. We're not. Mm-mm.
No,
you cannot do it. I'm sorry.
It's just it's too much, and then
we don't know. He could have packed it with gauze. We don't know
from where.
He could have used a piece of his coat. He kept pulling the coat over.
You know what?
It would have been infected. I don't know. Somebody should have died.
But he was going to die anyway. He was
going to die anyway.
From it.
But the other thing too. So I was talking earlier about Daniel should have shot Madison. You know who really should have shot Madison? Luciana. Because ever since you came back into her life, she lost Charlie. She has lost the safety of her mission. She lost half her people. And then you got the nerve to pull up on her and pull a gun. Mm-hmm. And you gonna force her again to take you all this way for your dead daughter at this point, because she doesn't know that there's a possibility that Alicia is alive at this point. So you gonna sit here and pull this gun on this woman who has done nothing but help you. Even when you fuck things up for her and her people, she was like, look, here's a car, here's this, take it, get the fuck away from us. Mm-hmm. You continue to come back and threaten her. And Lucy has the patience of a saint, because even at the end, once Madison found out that Alicia might be alive, she sent Madison on her way with a car and a fresh can of gas and a hug. I was like, you know what?
Because she didn't take it personally. She understood.
She should. People are...
And she don't give her the gas so she'll get the fuck away from her.
You can forgive, but you don't have to forget.
You didn't have to give her no hug. You could have been like, bitch, get out the way.
Some of this stuff here, people forgetting. They forgetting what's happening. They forget.
Let me tell you, these 2 episodes just got on my nerves so bad. And then let's talk about this. So part of this starts out because Troy goes back to that frozen wasteland. He gets his herd. He melts them out of the frozen grass. He gets the herd, and they're trying to lead the herd towards PADRE so that the water will sweep them onto the island. Okay. Now, when Crane finds them, he's trying to get Troy to tell him where the herd is. And Troy's like, oh, yeah, I'll tell you where the herd is in exchange for safety for my daughter, blah, 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 blah. Once they get away from Crane, and it's Daniel, Luciana, Madison, and Troy, he was like, I wasn't going to tell them where the herd is, but y'all can't kill me because I'm the only one who knows where the herd is. Now, Daniel is like we'll find it. Luciana is like, we'll find it. Madison's like, no, we made a bar. Can y'all stop making bargains? Because ain't nobody held up not a bit of a bargain in the last 3-4 episodes. But then she's like, no, we need him to find the herd. That herd has several thousands of walkers, judging by the size of it. You mean to tell me you can't hear that many? You can't hear all that without his help?
No, no, to be fair, in the main show, remember when all the walkers was in the quarry? Nobody heard that.
But they're in a quarry. They're down. It's hollow. That sound is gonna be down. They're down thousands of feet. You can't tell me, especially, okay, let's talk about the main show. That herd that was going and heard Jerry and Aaron on the horse cart going through the woods. Mm-hmm. No, you can't tell me, you can't tell me you're not going to sit there and hear. If all the wind has to do is blow just a little bit this way, you're going to hear that whole herd. You can't tell me that you needed Troy to find thousands of walkers. You literally just run in any direction. At some point, you're going to run into them. Come on now. Who is writing this? A third grader?
But I mean, in the end, she killed him. So she still did what she set out to do. He still died. They did disperse the herd. It ain't our fault old boy put them back together.
No, that wasn't even them putting it back together. They split the herd. They made sure the whole herd wasn't all together because they was like, yeah, we got a plan B. Those motherfuckers planned. Yeah. They were like, oh, so you're going to get rid of our herd over here on land? Well, guess what? We're going to put some of these on the barge right here and we're just going to back that shit up into your garage. And that's literally what they did.
It is.
They put a barge of walkers onto the island. And then had a grenade launcher and was able to blow it up from the inside so the walkers could get it. I was like, see, Troy, look, say what we will about Troy, his people were prepared. They had a plan. Then when that plan didn't work, they had an alternate plan.
Yeah.
And that's why we could have got rid of Troy and it could have been Crane with these plans because he really knew the ins and outs of PADRE. And he could have done this because he was upset that they took over. Mm-hmm. Because this was a part of his family. You understand what I'm saying? This was a part of his dad. Mm-hmm. We didn't need Troy. We already set up the badness of Troy and Crane and Sam. So we could have just continued on.
Right.
But back and forth, I'm sorry. It's the back and forth, the back and forth, the back and forth. Even with Victor, the back and forth, it was just shit. Sorry.
Like literally, you're on the walkie-talkie with your husband and he's telling you, we have problems of our own with the dead. Frank, why are you not answering? Frank, because
right. I'm like, he's
fighting for his life.
Right.
They put you on speakerphone.
I was like you heard the commotion when Russell was when it started blowing up. You heard some shit pop off. Why do you think that Frank is gonna sit here and try to be like, oh, hey,
hold on.
so everybody else is sitting here fighting walkers, but I gotta talk to you to let you know that I'm okay. No. Oh.
And then they go, Victor, no, like he's dying. No. And then 3 seconds later, Madison saved our lives.
Yeah.
I'm alive. Oh, okay.
She saved everybody's life.
She saved everyone's life. She's a hero.
I tell you.
She put us in danger and then saved us.
It's not the means to the ends, it's the ends. So at the end of the day, she still saved them. Yeah. Everyone still made it out. Everyone's still alive, at least that we know of.
Right? And she is too. Like that, like the antibiotics cleared up. You don't need oxygen. So if you a person who need oxygen, just take antibiotics and that clears that all up.
It probably cleared up the 2 concussions she should have had too from those
and the water in her lungs.
It did, So,
the water in her lungs.
And the water in the lungs. So, you know.
yeah, and the water. Not just water. Donkey water. Swamp water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The antibiotics did that, you know what I'm saying? So she had to walk around.
We don't know. Maybe Troy took some antibiotics because remember, the daughter said that he taught all the children first aid. So maybe while he was in the car, waiting, he got something to put on his wound so it would stop bleeding.
I mean, to be honest with you,
so how did he heal that hole in his stomach from the first time Alicia stabbed him? And then
she may have not stabbed him. Well, because a stabbing in the stomach is really horrible because you literally would die. So she didn't stab him the way she thought she did, to be honest.
Russell said she drove that arm damn near through his stomach.
Damn near, which means it didn't go all the way.
So, and the thing about it, we had to think back to where we first met Troy. So Troy was on the border, and he may have known medical things that soldiers will learn, just to help out in the pinch. So he may be okay with that. Now, being stabbed in the stomach and living, I can't help you on that one. But with the wood through his arm, it's a possibility because if it missed the artery and he can shove something in there and stop the bleeding, he's good to go. But the stomach, though, is not something you really come back from.
You have to remember, Madison pulled it out. So she could have pulled it out, and when he passed out from shock, she could have repaired it.
Who?
Madison, because she was trying to keep him alive.
No.
That's possible. No. You can't say no.
No.
It happened off screen. No. Just like we didn't see Tracy drag her body up with the stretcher, her young self pulling 150-pound woman.
See, we didn't
dig the hole to bury her daddy. She's a very smart child.
Very, very.
And she just happened to find
strong.
Area off the were they still on the island? Did she set up a tent on the island and there were no walkers to be found anywhere and just
And that's why I asked how much time had passed, because if Alicia heard a story and had time to come to the island to find if the story was true.
I'm here to bury my mother. Really? So you mean to tell me you was in this area the whole time?
Very close.
Because if that was the case, I know your ass heard this is Madison Clark. PADRE has fallen. You heard that months ago.
Well, no, she said she didn't say she was in the area. She said she heard a story.
But that's what I'm saying. How's she gonna hear the story
and then find out she dead
and then get there
and she dead?
That's why I said only a couple of days. Time?
And
that's
then
what I'm saying. How much time passed?
That girl looks good.
Madison wasn't sitting in that on that island in no coma.
Well, remember Tracy said she had the oxygen. That's the only thing that saved her. So she passed out in her original jail.
Passed out, yes, but she wasn't in no coma, and you can't be unconscious that long. No, that's
why I'm asking how much time passed.
I don't know, but enough time, enough
from PADRE to the streets of the zombie world in order for Alicia to hear the story about a woman named Madison saving all these people on this island. So how much time is that?
She's saving?
But it couldn't have been.
She saved.
She saved everybody.
It couldn't have been that much time.
It was the day before. It was the night before.
Remember, she drew all the walkers away so everybody could get off.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe 2 days.
So she was the only one left on the island.
2 days.
So then again, here's the question: Who was spreading the stories?
That's what the people who live, the kids, the prefixes, the adults who lived.
But they're spreading the story to who?
That's true.
It's not like they're going to towns. I mean,
no, because the fake Alicias was still out there helping people.
They
told the fake Alicia.
I know, but I'm saying in the interim they were still. I mean, some amount of time had to pass because you had time to change your trucks. You had time to gather your, because it was 8 days to the refinery or some shit.
No, we're gonna call this poor writing, like Anthony calls it. It's poor writing. That's what we're calling it.
It's that travel. It's that travel time that they just throw in there. So sorry, but before I get on the Alicia too, so maybe I missed this because a few times I said I can't with these stories. So did they ever say like was Alicia healed from the fevers or like she got another special antibiotics that helped her?
Well, I would assume she healed.
Alicia's had said that.
Yeah, what did they say? I don't remember.
When they had picked her up, remember she went to the tower. They found her at the tower.
She said there was someone. She mentioned something about June. They had equipment that June didn't have or something. Yeah. So I'm guessing they cured her.
Okay, because she looks super model-y,
and puffy. She done gained weight.
She looked good.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, these years have done wonders.
Yeah, I think she did say something about that. She said that she got healed because they had access to equipment that June didn't have.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's explained.
Right.
But how you got to your mama's not.
She had a car.
Drive a car to an island, Casey.
No, she drove the car to the edge and then took a boat.
You know what?
And that would have been easy to do long time ago when people were on the speaker saying, there's this woman named Madison who is stealing our children. Alicia didn't come running in to see who this Madison was.
But there wasn't she didn't have, that wasn't her name when she was stealing children. It wasn't Madison. She was a bird.
But when Madison was trying to find those parents, she was using her name. Madison. That's how Troy found her. So if Troy,
Troy found her, how your child didn't hear the stories and find you?
She went in hiding, got a different name.
Yeah, but you went in hiding. You still would hear the stories that Troy would have heard.
And if you're staying on the radio,
but by this time Troy is dead.
Because you on the radio, you trying to hear. Because you trying to hear the other people who need your help. You may be in hiding. You may not be operating as Alicia Clark anymore, but you still got your ear out for people who need help. So no, none of this made sense. Didn't make sense. It was I just feel like they should have just left it. They could have left it at season 6. They could have left it at season 7. They could have just
Well, I enjoyed it, so
I'm glad you did.
I did.
I'm excited, and it saved this season's ending because you enjoyed it.
Yes, I really
because if you didn't enjoy it,
I enjoyed it. Like of course, Madison also didn't irritate me the way she irritated y'all.
Yeah,
I understood her more than y'all did. I understood the whole point of a mother doing what you got to do for your kids. Right,
but
wrong, different.
I get that, but I get it, but it was
were her methods always right? No, her intention was good.
And then I'm not even blaming Madison. It's just the story setup was not great, which put her in that position where she was just all over the place.
What do we say about the path to hell is paved with good intentions? That's all Madison was, just a path to hell.
Because I said if we changed the scenario, Madison would have looked better. And it would have been better if we just really left Troy out. And it was because honestly, I just feel like they brought Troy in because they were trying to bring in a lot of fear left the beginning fear, if that's making sense. Like the last part of fear, or even the last few seasons, wasn't like the beginning. And I feel like we got Madison back to tie it into the beginning. We got Troy back to tie it into the beginning. Alicia back to tie it to the beginning. That everyone else got lost. because everything was based on Alicia, Madison, Victor, Troy. That's the most important things because it ties it back to the beginning. So we kind of have like this full circle. So we wanted to end this. I hear them in the room. I can see it. And if I'm completely wrong, writers, please reach out to us. But in the room, they're like, we need to end it with the at least two of the main characters walking away and finding peace.
But you got three.
Well, actually three. So we got Victor because he has a family.
No, we got more than three. We got Daniel. He was season 1.
Yeah, Daniel.
So we got 4.
So 4. Finding peace and finding family. But the focus really was on Madison and Alicia. First episode.
To begin with? It was about them to begin with.
Yeah, but we left them long time ago. So honestly, it was we need to close out with them. So we couldn't close it out with Morgan because it's not Morgan's show. So we needed to close it out with Madison. So we gotta make it be interesting. Now, Casey,
interesting.
Could we have like 12 episodes? Could we have made this like 6, Casey? Could we have made it 6?
Yeah.
Probably.
Tighten up some pieces.
Yeah, instead of drawing some things out, making them longer than they needed to be. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And then again, take Troy out. Because that never made sense to begin with.
It really didn't. Because we clearly saw a body.
But Troy coming in has to do with, because what other reason would Madison continue to search for Alicia?
Because Crane giving her some information, or she's giving information, or she found information in PADRE.
He has no foot to stand on as far as anything from her past. Like Troy's from the past, so him and the animosity with Alicia.
But
real.
But
so to have that,
but they don't
for her going and doing all this.
But Madison doesn't know. Like Madison doesn't know all the adults that are involved because they kept them all separate. So she could have found things that led to like, you do know my daughter. And they're like, no, we don't. We know this woman named Sarah. And it turns out that Sarah is her daughter. That could have been found up in the files. Like, wait a second, you had another runner? No, we had this person that, who was always trying to stop us in different turns in these different areas. Her name was Sarah. And she hears a story about Sarah. Interesting. And then they see a file that Sarah, aka Alicia. You've been keeping this shit from me? Okay. Yes, that's how we keep y'all in line. We got files on all of y'all.
But remember, we had this discussion when Madison was first introduced back. And she was talking to the voice behind the window.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about her kids and,
they knew. They had information.
Right. And that's why I was like,
they could have used that.
It never made sense for her to be doing what she was doing. Because I was like, how does she know that they have information on Nick and Alicia? Apparently, they've told her some things to make her think that. But unless you have concrete proof, why would you just
to? Because they did tell her that they were going to go after them if she didn't do what she did. But they could have lied that they knew Nick was there. Like they dad had to teach them well. Sam was very smart. So here we go. You know what I'm saying? They had files. I mean, they kept records on these kids and their parents.
Mm-hmm.
So once Alicia when they got in there, she could have saw that file. And then again, Crane trying to destroy PADRE. She's trying to help save it. Everyone's trying to help save it. But in the way they're trying to save it, and then she finds out about Alicia. Then she got to go see Alicia. But Crane is throwing things in in there and say, "Ooh, Crane can also say, hey, we got a child that is from Alicia," because she wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And then they could have had a big old battle, and we could have had the walkers involved, and they burned Trey down and saved Padre. And then I can hear them say, all these women who helped save Padre, we gonna call it Padre. There we go. That's your happy ending.
Yeah, when I say I am glad this is over with. And I hate that because I really liked Fear.
I did too.
When it came out, I stopped after the ranch for a little bit because, again, Madison got on my nerves. Picked it back up, fell in love with the series again right around seasons 5, season 6, season 7. It started to, well, I'm going to be honest, it really kind of started declining for me after John Dory died.
I was about to say that because that was it for me.
It just kind of got a little muddy. And then I can't even say the first part of this season was altogether bad because we still had Morgan. I still feel like they could have done a little bit better, like with this whole time jump and everybody kind of being separated. And then again,
they could have
us not getting closure on some characters. I feel like they could have done that better, but we did get some gems in the first part of this season. You know, Morgan going back to King County. That was a great episode. I love that episode. You know, him being able to find some semblance of peace with his daughter towards the end. Even Grace's death and how it came about. Can't stand it, but it was a good episode. The acting was great, you know, as far as like giving us, you know, those emotional moments. But this back half of the season,
it's not. And like there's some people who don't even need to be in there. We could have just killed June off.
I don't know if I'm gonna say all.
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it in a bad way, but it's like
it would have given us some emotional,
right? Yeah. And even Luciana, it's like Luciana and June, y'all wasted.
Yeah, I will say that
wasted on them. Like June was so important, and then it's like after John passed away, it just kind of she started going downhill. I mean, I actually kind of enjoyed it when they were dealing with what's her name,
Jenny, Virginia.
Yes,
yeah. She was a very capable antagonist.
She was. I mean, it was good. I mean, that's when, you know, John went away and stuff like that. I mean, I'm still devastated about that though, to be honest with you, but
yeah, it was just and I don't know if it's them announcing that the show was going to be over that maybe contributed to the writing of this season. Like maybe they just felt like, oh, we're done. I don't know. I mean, there are some people who I think really did enjoy this season. I just was not one of them.
Yeah, and I'm happy. I mean, that's the only saving grace is that one of us enjoyed it, to be honest with you. It is. That's the saving grace. I wouldn't watch it again. I wouldn't talk about it again.
Really?
It's like, yeah, the way
these last 2 episodes, like I watched
it was hard.
Going back through them tonight, yeah, it was hard. It took me 3.5 hours to go through both episodes because I kept having to pause because I would literally roll my eyes, just like, oh my God, I cannot believe. Like, yeah, it was hard to get through.
But I think the whole premise was they wanted to end
the way it began.
Yeah. That was the whole premise of tying.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Because and to be honest with you, I'm okay with Madison coming. It was believable about Madison coming back because we really didn't know what happened to her.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a fire, but like she really could have went another direction and survived that.
Yeah.
So I totally get that and stuff, but This season, they just had her all over the place.
I think the problem for me with them bringing her back was you brought back a woman to whom family was so important, and you made her a baby snatcher. That was the thing I think that really pissed me off about this season. Like, y'all brought her back as what?
Right.
What? I think that was the thing that started my irritation with her character coming back, because if you had to bring her back, y'all had so many other ways that you could have done it, but you made her a kidnapper, snatching children from their parents, when you know most of the people she killed was because they looked at Nick and Alicia the wrong way.
That's true. So really, we could have went back and just had her trying to stop PADRE.
Yeah.
And bumped into Morgan trying to help him.
Right. It just, yeah.
She was trying to help him when she stole the baby.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
But not stealing the baby, but actually trying to stop. You know what I'm saying? Stop them, and they got involved, and she went undercover or something like that. I would have been okay with that.
Yeah, they could have done something like that.
Because that issue is like you have someone do the total opposite of what they believed in. Like, I would believe Victor's stealing children if that puts him in the direction he needs to be in, or in the path he needs to be in. Because you can get him to believe that he's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
For the moment. You can push him in that direction and say, we're just trying to make a better world. We really trying. These people are struggling. This is the reason why. He'd be like, okay.
Right.
And we give you a place to stay. And, you know, he'd be like, okay. And you training the children. Okay.
Right.
He wear his little suits like a little dictator walking around. Yeah, he'll like that. But yeah, Madison. But that conversation she had with Alicia, they got to have that conversation. What have you been doing? What's your backstory?
Well, they got a long ass ride, so they gonna have a talk.
Right. I think the main thing that I liked about this last episode is the fact that at least we did get Skid Mark back.
Yes.
Daniel got his cat, so he didn't lose all the people that was close to him. But still, we get Skid Mark back, and we still don't know what happened to Sarah and Wendell, or to Emil, or to Joseph, or to the kids. I'm still very irritated with that. And I know
they drove the 4 trucks there just to separate. I didn't get that part.
I guess it was one of those things where maybe at that point they decided they were going to go their separate ways. Because, I mean, one, you can't go back to PADRE. That's done.
I mean, they could have. The everything blew up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't go back there. It's gone.
You better off going to the hotel.
Right. Or just finding someplace new and starting over. I mean, hell, at this point, look, Dwight and Cher can be like, hey, let's go back to Alexandria. Let's show them the good that we've been doing and tell them what we're doing. Because, I mean, at this point, Dwight has earned his redemption to me. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he has. That's what I'm saying. That's why he can go to the Commonwealth. That's what I'm saying. They could have even left there. Like, I heard of a settlement that has been trying to, help, and it's a good location to take some of these, people and kids. Mm-hmm. And they bring them. And I would have been like, oh, okay. Because a sanctuary, I'm like, isn't that stuff falling apart? Like, I don't want to live in no factory. Help me.
And remember,
even find a neighborhood.
Remember when Rick and them tried to help them, they couldn't grow crops there, couldn't do, like, it wouldn't.
Yeah, survive. It's not a place.
Dwight can go back to their old house and clean it up, and they'll be good.
Yeah, or they can find a location. They're good at that. You understand what I'm saying? They can find a location, clear it out, and have the people and rebuild. They know what's a good establishment and not so great establishment.
Right.
So then now that doesn't make sense for them to go back there.
It doesn't.
It's not a great place.
No, and especially with the history that it has for them specifically, I wouldn't want to go back there.
Me neither. That doesn't make sense. But whatever. Whatever floats your boats while y'all was sitting in that room writing this.
Yeah.
I do like the way that Victor got his flower and then saw them in the little rear view. I was like, oh.
You know what? Honestly, that was sweet.
Yes.
It was sweet, but I will say this too. I think more than anything, especially for me, more than Madison, Victor deserved that reunion with Alicia.
He did.
I feel like she deserved to see that he was not the man he was the last time she saw him.
And he changed.
And he deserved the chance to tell her thank you. Like, it was the thought of you that put me on the path I needed to be on. I feel like he deserved
that was the better scene.
I liked it the way it ended.
I mean, I liked it the way it was, but I feel like
because he told Madison to tell her that he tried. But then she knows from there what happened. Going back, him trying to save
whatever. But we don't need Madison to tell his story because she will scramble that up because she's going to scramble her own story up. Victor was the one stealing children and she wasn't.
But I don't know what she's that way so that nobody let everybody think that Madison died. You know what I'm saying? Let everybody think that him being the only one that knows. Perfect.
But then Madison
started with them,
right? You know but Madison dying makes her she's
a martyr.
Yeah, she's the superhero here. Let's again name some our new school that we're gonna build. Madison Middle.
Madison Clark.
Right, middle school. I mean, again, her dying in Alicia's arms and they having their end, and then her and Victor have a discussion and they go off and she continues to go save the world. That's the better ending.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, this whole Daniel going to Victor and I was wrong about you. You did save my family. You did. I didn't need that. I did not need.
That sucked too.
Yeah. That.
What?
No.
You can't in the scene. You can't
take all those years of hate.
Right.
But we don't know how much time has passed.
Years. We know 10.
From the time he said that till now, we don't know how much time has passed. So
it ain't been that much time.
Daniel been saying this every time they together. He's been saying this every time they're together.
But he had a revelation.
Since the beginning.
He had a revelation.
No, you helped us one time on the boat, but did you really help us? You really helped Nick. And we forced ourselves onto this boat and forced ourselves into your lives. Because Madison family forced themselves into Daniel's life.
Mm-hmm.
If we want to revisit history, let's revisit the history.
Well, he did say
Daniel never
came into my barbershop.
Yeah, Daniel never liked Victor. So this is not the time to be like, oh, you saved my family.
Right.
Nah, honey.
I'm glad he got to see Skid Mark again.
He's at the point where he ain't holding on to them grades. Let bygones be bygones. Bygones be bygones. Then he said he was over the war. Let's be done. Let it go.
Now I'm okay with that. If he said, yes, you are parts of me that I don't like that I have done and stuff. But you're trying to make a change. I'm trying to make a change. And right now, bygones be bygones. I would have been fine with that. But thank you for saving my family. Boo. On that boat, you got no one left.
Well, I mean, not even that part. I mean, Victor saved them when, I understand Victor opened up his home to them very reluctantly. But I mean, Griselda still died at Victor's house.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Daniel has, Luciana, but before Luciana, his real family is gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why he ain't letting go of Luciana?
However, he would have died though, because without Madison's family and stuff. Because the one thing they did was they moved, you know what I'm saying? They moved from that barbershop to at least the house. And from the house, they moved to the boat. Like Daniel, I don't think Daniel would have kept his family moving. You know,
Yeah.
he's military. I don't think he would have kept his family moving, because that's one thing that I think saved them all was the constant moving instead of planting themselves.
Yeah.
Especially in California. That's major.
Yeah. Well, I have to say 8 seasons, it was enough. I'm ready to see what's happening next. You know, we have The Ones Who Live coming up in a couple of weeks. I'm very excited for that. Now that we are done with Fear, we can move on to talking about the Daryl Dixon show. I'm very excited to do that as well. But rest in peace, Fear. I'm glad it's over. Now, I will say this. I would like to see some of the characters come back in other crossovers or spinoffs or however they want to do it. I would like to see some of those characters come back every once in a while, but for the most part, yeah, I'm done. I never have to see Madison Clark again in my life.
And I'm hoping that Sherry and Dwight pop up in something else.
Yeah, that would be nice. So, yep. Let's see. You guys
is Morgan planning to pop up too?
Oh,
you know, so I have my own theory about that, because you know, in the and we'll talk about it in depth. You know, there's a part in the Daryl Dixon show where he's on a radio call with Carol. And Carol is trying to figure out, you know, where he is. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm such and such. I'm here in this place. I'll be back home in a few days." And then she says, "Daryl," and she's telling him that somebody came back, but you can't hear the name of who she said came back. Now, a lot of people are saying that she was probably trying to tell him Rick came back. Well, I don't think that's the case, because if you look at the end of the season, when we see that Carol actually shows up in the show, she's looking for Daryl. If Rick was back, Rick would have been looking for Daryl.
Right.
I don't think it's Rick. I actually think she might have been trying to tell him that maybe Morgan came back.
Yeah.
Because other than that, if you think about it, the last time we saw them, they were in Commonwealth. Morgan would not have known to go to Commonwealth. He would have gone to Alexandria. So at some point, that means some of the Alexandrians were still there and they told him where the Commonwealth was. But again, Morgan just traveled from South Georgia up to Virginia after all of this stuff and losing the love of his life. No, I don't think he's trying to go do no more searching. He's trying to rest.
Right.
So I really think that might have been Morgan. And then, you know, they were going back and forth between Commonwealth and Alexandria and the new Hilltop, at least until Maggie relocated Hilltop to wherever it was in Dead City. So I think we'll see Morgan again.
Yeah, and I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about taking things back to the beginning, you can't have a Rick I just don't feel like if you can bring Morgan and if you can bring Madison and Alicia back to close out the story for Fear the Walking Dead, you got to bring Morgan back to tell Rick's story.
Right.
He's got to be in there somewhere. And I mean, when Morgan left, he left to go look for Rick.
Yeah.
And Morgan, if Morgan can pop up in the middle of Fear, Morgan can pop up anywhere.
Anywhere. And we won't complain.
At all.
Shit, send Morgan to France with his bow stick to go rescue.
Right. I love it. Yes.
I'll take it.
I love it.
So yeah. But hopefully we'll see Morgan again. I think if Dwight and Sherry are going back to, as Dwight says, try to make Sanctuary worthy of its name, I have a feeling we'll see them again at some point. But yeah, I don't think we're done with all of these characters. The rest of them, Victor has his happy ending in this show. He's going off into the sunset with his husband and son. And if you remember, when we first met Victor, he had a husband. And part of him, the whole self-preservation thing was because he lost that husband, you know, due to all this stuff. So yeah, I think I think we'll probably done seeing him. I don't anticipate seeing Daniel and Luciana because it really makes no sense for them to show up in any of the other shows. So yeah, but Morgan, Sherry, Dwight, I definitely don't think it's the last we've seen of them.
Yeah.
So yeah. But you guys have any other final thoughts about Fear the Walking Dead, the series?
That was a good show. I love that thing.
And we will let you have that opinion, even though you're wrong. No, I'm just joking. Like I said, I actually do like the show. It's just I feel like they stretch a lot of things with these last two seasons, especially this last season. So I'm kind of, it's one of those things where you just don't want to beat a dead horse. I think the story is done, and yeah, we're good.
Well, I'm in the middle because I did enjoy Fear overall. We got to look at the overall pieces. What is bothering me just a little bit is that I wish it spent more time in the beginning
of the entire show.
Yes,
you mean like the whole thing about how it started? Okay.
Yeah, but you know how I feel because I say this with the Last of Us. I like that part. I like the beginning, the how, when, and how things evolved. We know what it looks like with the regular Walking Dead, but just to see the progression and how different communities start setting up, I wish they spent more time in the beginning stages.
Okay, yeah.
But I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Except for this last season.
Yeah.
But that's one season. And that, if you're going on
out of
8 years,
yeah,
that's okay. That's great.
Yeah. But I mean,
one season. But I wish that's the only like negative comments. I wish they spent more time. No time jumps, like literally they spent time in the beginning.
Building the story.
Where, there's ample supplies, wigs in the wig shop. I mean, there's all this things that you need is there. It's just how people are setting up communities, how people are aligning, how people are adjusting.
Yeah.
Not really knowing what's going on. I mean, we got that with Rick because he woke up and not knowing what's going on. That was the greatest opening ever. But this was like the beginning where everyone is literally like walking around. Some people are sick, but just to stay on that pace, they kind of
for a little bit more.
Yeah, they sped up a little bit.
Okay.
So that's the only thing that's a negative for me.
Okay.
It's not really bad, but it's just I like to know more.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. We may get some more of that stuff. I mean, they're still talking about doing other stories and spinoffs. So we'll probably be in this Walking Dead universe for quite a while. I don't know what they have on the horizon after The Ones Who Live, except for Dead City and Daryl Dixon. They both were renewed for a second season. We know that the Daryl Dixon show is already filming their second season. I don't believe they started Dead City yet. And I have not heard of anything else concrete as far as continuations of stories. I know there are people who have thrown out suggestions, but we don't have anything concrete. But if we do, we will definitely talk about that. But for now, that's it for our coverage of Fear the Walking Dead. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, pretty much everything as Fandom Hybrid. You can chat with us on our Discord channel. You can watch our videos on our YouTube channel, and you can listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.